All right, what's going on, guys? Good to have you here tonight for this masterclass, How to Write a Book in 30 Days. So as you are coming in, do me a favor, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. And even if you happen to be watching this on the replay, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from as well. I'm here in the beautiful city of Phoenix, Arizona, where God vacations. So wherever you are in the world, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. Have a fantastic, power-packed presentation for you tonight, how to write a book in 30 days. So if you have been wanting to write your book but haven't been able to get over the hump, then this is the masterclass for you tonight. So once again, as you're coming in, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. So we're going to get right into tonight's training. I'm not going to hold you. I want to respect your time for showing up tonight. So let's get right into it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Will. My name is Dr. Will. I am an international speaker, named one of the top 30 speakers, motivational speakers in the world, and I'm an author of over 50 books. And so I've been in the author game for a little time now. So I share this with you because I want you to know you're listening to somebody that knows what they're talking about, someone who has been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So sit back. I hope you have something to write with. You take some great notes. And for those of you that cannot stay to the end, we're going to hang out for about 40 minutes during this presentation. But if you cannot stay to the end, at the end, I'm going to be offering everyone an opportunity. Well, can't say everyone, it's 10 individuals. I'm going to be offering the opportunity to work with me in a special masterclass 4-week group coaching program called Bank on Books, where we go a little bit deeper. So if you can't stay to the end, just simply go over to www.drwillspeaks.com/BBF, and you can learn more about the opportunity that I'm going to share at the end. But I do encourage you to stay all the way to the end. I'm going to share some things with you tonight that are going to be very beneficial to you and helping you become an author. I am honored to have this opportunity to be here with you. I love sharing information that helps move the needle in people's lives. So once again, you're listening to somebody tonight that has been there, done that. As I said earlier, I've written over 50 books. As a matter of fact, I am the only speaker to have had 4 bestsellers debut in one day. Right there, if you look at the screen, you'll see it. I had 4 of my books on the bestseller list in one day. We launched 4 books in one day, and they all reached the bestseller list. So you're talking to somebody and listening to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So if you want to write a book, you've been thinking about writing a book, then you want to make sure that you stay tuned. So let's see who I have. Let's see who's in here. Francis, I see you. Palo Alto, California. Shirley, Las Vegas. Dr. Leroy coming in from Baltimore. Awesome. I see Lotus is watching from Phoenix. So many great people coming in here. So thank you guys so much for coming in here. This is going to be a life transformational training for you, especially for those of you that want to write a book. Now, what I'm going to be sharing with you, what I love about what I'm going to be sharing with you, it is what I call my Bank on Books formula. And it is a simple formula that anybody can use to write their book in 30 days. And so not only have I been able to use this formula to write over 50 books, but I have clients I've been able to help over 350 other authors write their books as well. Here's one of our students, Dr. Mary. And Dr. Mary has used our system to write over 20 books. Yes, you heard that right. Over 20 books she has written in less than a 3-year period. She has written over 20 books. So the formula not only works for me, but it works for anybody that will work it. Another one of our students, Dr. Sean, has used our system to write over 30 books as well. So once again, the magic works for you if you work the magic. One more student that I want to share with you, Dr. Marcy, she has used our system to write over 15 books. And so just right there, you have 3 authors that have written over combined 70 book titles. Just 3 of our authors right here have written over 70 book titles using this Bank on Books formula. So listen, if you're wanting to write a book, you are on the right training tonight, because we're going to share with you how to get that book out of your head and into your hand. So when we talk about becoming an author, I want you to understand that you're becoming a part of a select group, In 2022, there were over 54,000 writers and authors working in the United States. Now, I know that sounds like a big number, 54,000, but when we think about the world population of 8 billion people, then that's less than 1% of the population. And so if you become an author, you are joining a select group. I remember years ago, I was reading an article, and I think it was the Time magazine, and it asked, who were the most trusted people in the world? They did a survey and they asked people, who were the people that you trusted? And on this list, number 1 was parent, number 2 was clergy, number 3 was teachers, and number 4 were authors. Number 4 was authors. And that really stood out to me, that authors inside our world really hold weight inside our world. So when you become an author, you are becoming a part of a select group of individuals. Less than 1% of the population can say that they are authors. And one of the things I like about books, I love personally reading books myself. And a lot of the books that I have, one of my favorite books is a book that's called Think and Grow Rich. And that book was written by Napoleon Hill. And he wrote that book back in 1920 or something like that. But today it's still resonating with individuals. So when you write a book, you're going to have something that outlives you. Think about that for a moment. You're going to have something on this planet that outlives you, that can be impacting lives for years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of years to come. Think about that. That you could literally leave this world and leave your imprint on this world by writing a book. And so if you haven't written a book before, I really encourage you to really consider writing your book. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about my Bank on Books formula. And it's a simple formula for creating books that help you build your brand. It helps you position yourself as an authority, and it will help you attract new clients. Now, this formula that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, this is not about writing a novel, an exhaustive type book. This book and this formula and this system that we use is really designed to help you produce a book in a short amount of time that's going to help you build your brand and position you as an authority. Now, I want you to think about the word authority. What is the root word of authority? It's author. And so when you write a book, it gives you authority in your given field, in your given industry. And so what we teach our clients inside of our Speakers Academy and inside of our book writing program, we teach them how to write a book that's going to help build their brand and help position them and give them authority so they can attract new clients. So who is this for? Who is this for? If you are a person that sells a product or a service, you need to have a book. You need to have a book. If you sell a product or a service, you need to have a book. If you want to stand out from your competitors, if you want to stand out from people in your industry, you need to have a book. If you're a person that has a message, you have some knowledge, or you have overcome some obstacles and have life lessons, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. Now, let me see who's down here. Down in the chat, if you've written a book already, write the number 1. And if you desire to write a book, write the number 2. So right there in the chat, if you have written a book before, type the number 1. If you're thinking about or you desire to write a book, type the number 2. Right down there in the chat. Let me see who we have. All right, I see Sophia wants to write a book. Kimmy wants to write a book. Dr. Leroy has written a book. Awesome, amazing. So if you want to write a book, write the number 2. If you've already written a book, write the number 1. All right, Shirley wants to write a book. Jacqueline has written a book. Awesome, awesome, amazing. Okay, so once again, you may be listening to me and you're like, well, no, there's not a reason for me to write a book. I believe that every single person has a book on the inside of them. Every single person has a book on the inside of them. And as you saw in those examples that I shared with you of some of our students, they not only had a book in them, they had multiple books in them, because this system is so easy to use. The formula is so easy to use that once you get it, you can keep reproducing over and over and over and over. And this is one of the reasons why I've been able to write 50 plus books, because of this simple formula that I'm going to be teaching you tonight. So once again, if you are a realtor, if you are an attorney, if you are a medical doctor, if you are a teacher, if you are a hairstylist, if you are an athlete, if you are in HR, if you are in customer service, if you have knowledge, if you have a skill, if you have a message, maybe you've overcome some hurdles in your life. Maybe you're a cancer survivor. Think about the individuals that today, just today, got the message that they have cancer. And I want you to go back. If you've ever experienced this, I want you to go back and I want you to think about what that process and what that journey was like for you. And I want you to think about if you had a book that you could have read, that could have prepared you, that could have helped you along the journey. Well, that's what you are able to do for somebody else. That's what you're able to do. If you have some knowledge, maybe you're not even thinking about it's book worthy, but let's say you went to college and you were able to get 50 scholarships, or you were able to go to college and you learn how to finance your education through scholarships. That's knowledge. How many high school graduates do we have every single year? That's knowledge that people need. If I was a parent, I am a parent, but if I was in the bookstore and I have a kid that is in high school and I see a book, How to Pay for College, right? How to get through college without any loans. That's knowledge as a parent that I would pick up and I would read because I would want to help my kid get through college without any loans. So once again, if you have some knowledge that can impact the masses, then you really need to consider writing a book. You really need to consider writing a book. So let's look at this. Why should I write a book? Here's some other reasons why you should write a book. Number one, it's going to help you build your brand. Number two, it gives your current business exposure. So once again, if you are a real estate agent and you write this book, and let's just say you go and print you out 100 copies of your book, and then you go to the local barbershop, you go to the local beautician shop, and you say, hey, do you mind if I leave 3 or 4 of my books here? And now while people are sitting there waiting to get their haircut, they pick up your book, they start, and it could be a book like, 25 things you need to do before you sell your house, or 25 things you need to do before you buy a house. Just simple information. One of the things that people always overlook is the things that come easy to you are the things that you are knowledgeable about. You think everybody else is knowledgeable about it. And so you tend to overlook it. But that wisdom and that knowledge that you have is not common to everybody else. So if you're a lawyer, right? 25 ways to protect yourself from getting sued. So there's all different types of information that you could share inside of a book. So it gives your current business exposure. Number three, it creates a new stream of income. And when you come, if you join us for the master coaching starting September 5th, I'm going to show you at least 25 ways that you can turn your book into income. I'm going to be sharing 25 ways you can turn a book into income beyond just selling the book. I'm going to teach you 25 ways. So once again, if this sounds interesting to you and you want to be a part of that master coaching for 4 weeks, go to drwillspeaks.com/BBF and get one of the spots. Don't delay. Don't second guess yourself. Get in there so you can get this training. I'm going to show you 25 ways that you can earn an income from your book. It sets you apart. Once again, it sets you apart from your competition. It sets you apart from others. Once again, 54,000 authors in the United States out of 350 million people that's in the United States. Out of 350 million people that's in the United States, you go to the top of the class. Okay, it gives you more credibility. Number 6, people trust books. If it's information inside of a book, people tend to trust it more. So once again, if you're a mechanic, you should have a book. 25 ways to maintenance your car to get the most mileage. 25 ways to get your car to 250,000 miles. That was a book I would read. So people trust books. So just think, if people came by your shop and you were able to give them this book, you become the trusted mechanic in the neighborhood. Just think about this. How many of you have went to a mechanic and they had a book to offer you? And think about if they did have a book and they told you 25 ways to maintain your car, 25 ways to get to 250,000 miles. Wouldn't you look at them as a more credible source? Of course you would. Number 7, it helps position you as the go-to person. I'm a professional speaker, and what having a book has done for me has allowed me, when I send in proposals and people see that I've written a book about a particular industry, it sets me apart from other speakers. It sets me apart from other speakers. I become the authority. I become the expert. I have the credibility. So it helps position you as the go-to person. Number 8, it opens up new doors of opportunity. Opens up new doors of opportunity. And I'm going to be sharing a lot more of this during our master class starting on September the 5th. I'm going to teach you that there's a reason, right? There's a reason why a Kevin Hart, who is one of the biggest comedians in the world, there's a reason why he wrote a book. There's a reason why. He didn't need to write a book. There's a reason why he wrote a book. It opens up new doors of opportunity. People that did not know him as a comedian and people who love to read books, they now get to experience him in a whole new different way. And so the same thing will happen for you. And so for a person who's maybe never heard me speak before in public, they have my book. So they can experience me that way. So it opens up new doors of opportunity. Number 9, gives people a reason to follow you and your knowledge. So when I get off the stage, and people come to the back of the conference and they get one of my books, that allows me to extend the relationship. See, if I'm on stage, I'm only on stage for an hour. There's only so much I can share in an hour. But now inside of the book, I can elaborate on some of my best ideas. I can extend the conversation with the audience. And now they get to go home with me via my book. So the conversation and the relationship doesn't stop right then. It continues on. And then I'll teach you the information beyond the content that you're writing. I'll share with you some other information you should put in your book because it becomes the best business card you could ever have. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you have ever went to a networking event and came home with 25 cards, 30 cards that you just set on your desk and you looked at them? And then after about 2 months, you said, these cards are getting in my way, and you just toss them to the side. But how many of you have ever thrown a book away? Think about that. I don't know about you, but it's just something that I can't bring myself to throw a book away. I'll make that extra trip to the local library to give it and donate it to the library, but I won't throw a book away. I don't think I've ever thrown a book away in my life. It seems like a sin to throw a book away. So I've never thrown a book away, but I've thrown business cards away. I try to keep them and put rubber bands around them, and then I look at them, and now I have 500 cards looking at me. I say, what am I going to do with these 500 cards? And then they end up in the trash. But books, I just keep buying new bookshelves. I don't throw books away. So number 10, helps you leverage your knowledge. Once again, you're going to be able to extend on your ideas. You're going to be able to share more stories around your concepts. So these are just 10 reasons. I can give you 30 other reasons why you should write a book. And I want you to think about that. Go back to a Kevin Hart. Go back to a Tony Robbins. They don't need to write a book. Why would they write a book then? Why would they write a book? There must be a reason why a comedian who has over 150 million followers on his platform would feel the need. He wanted to connect more with his tribe. He wanted to connect more with his fans. And a book allowed him to do that. And so when you start seeing a lot of celebrities writing books, that's a reason why. Their fans wanted to know more about them. They wanted, we watch interviews and they can only give a snippet of the story. We want to know more, go more in detail. That's what a book allows you to do. It helps you to leverage more of your knowledge. So these are just a couple of reasons, right, to write a book. Want to share with you another one of our students, Michelle. I think she's up to around 10 books that she's writing. She's one of the top leadership experts in America. And so she extends her philosophies, extends her knowledge and wisdom through books. So here's one of her books on time management. And so when clients hire her, she can now get a paycheck from speaking, but she can also get a paycheck from books. So she has the opportunity to extend the conversation around her expertise. And so when it comes to being one of the go-to leadership experts in America, a potential client, when they see that she's written 7 to 8 books in the area of leadership development, who do you think they're going to want to go to? Who do you think they're going to think has the credibility and the expertise to come in and teach their teams? It's going to be the author, the one with the authority. So where do I start? Where do I start? I'm going to share with you the three C's of writing a successful book. I'm going to share just 3 of them. But when you come to the training on September 5th, and it lasts for 4 weeks, 4 Tuesdays in a row, we're going to get down to the meat of this. Tonight, I'm only going to just share 3 of the C's of writing a successful book. But it's going to get you started in the right direction, even if you don't join us for the training. But for those of you that join us for the training, we're going to get really deep into this, and I'm going to go even deeper. But tonight, we're going to kind of stay topical, and I'm just going to share 3 concepts with you. So where do I start? The 3 C's of writing a successful book. So number 1, get your pens out. Number 1, clarity. Clarity. We always start with clarity. What do you want your book to do for you? And this is very important. So once again, I gave you several reasons why you should write a book, but now we want to really think and take some thought around, what do I want my book to do for me? Maybe it's to establish me as an authority. So do you want this particular book that you're going to write to establish you as an authority? Then if you want it to establish you as an authority, then you're going to write a particular book. And we're going to talk about that, the type of book that you need to write that's going to establish you as an authority. Maybe you want the book to help you create leads for your business. So if you want to use the book to create leads for your business, we're going to teach you how to write the book that's going to help you generate leads for your business. So all books, right? All books aren't created equal. They're books, all different types of books that have different purposes. So we're going to, during the training, we're going to figure out, what do you want your book to do for you? Maybe you just want to use the book to get your name out there, right? You want to use the book to get your name out there. So I'm going to teach you how to write that type of book that just helps you get your name. Maybe your goal, is not to monetize it, but you just want to use it, once again, as I said, as an elevated business card. So when you think about this, I'll give you an example. If you write a book, and let's just say that book costs anywhere between $2 and $4 to get it printed out. But in your mind, you're just using it to get your name out there as a lead generation type thing for $2 to $4. But let's say the product or the service that you're selling, each client represents, let's just say, just to make it for number purposes, let's just say your service or your product is $1,000. Well, now you can give a potential client something that they can go home with, something that they can go read. And for $2, that could be a potential $1,000 for you. So the question would be, if every time I handed out my book, that was a potential $1,000, then how many books would I hand out? Right? If every book could be a potential $1,000 client, then how many books would I hand out? And so we're going to teach you different strategies and different models to use, because there are different models to use, right? You've probably seen it online where someone pops up and say, hey, here's my book. You can have it for free. Just pay for shipping. And it's all yours. Well, what they're trying to do is build their list. And so in exchange for your email, they're willing to give you the book. But if you do it right, let's say that book costs $2 to $3 to print out. It costs another $3 to ship, right? If you charge $9 for shipping and handling, then you're not coming out of pocket for anything. So even though you're saying it's a free book, you position it and you strategize it in such a way where it doesn't cost you anything. Does that make sense? And so they feel as though they got value, because usually your book would be $20 or $25 on the average. But if they're only getting it for $9, they're getting 50% discount. But in their mind, they just got a free book, because in their mind, they only paid for shipping and handling, right? They're not thinking that they paid for the book. They just paid for shipping and handling. But you want to do it smartly to make sure, you're not going into the hole shipping out these books. So you just make sure that the shipping and handling cost covers the cost of the book and cost of the mail. But that's a strategy. And we'll teach you, we're going to teach you some of these strategies when you join us for the Bank on Books masterclass. So what do you want your book to do for you? That's the first thing you want to answer. That's the first thing you want to answer. What do I want this book to do for me? Am I using it to help me gain authority? Am I using it to help me gain credibility? Am I using it as positioning? Am I using it as a lead generation? What do I want the book to do for me? I want it to help me build my list. So I'm writing the book in such a way, usually a how-to book, right? Works well for that. People are willing to trade their email to get some how-to information. The 9 things you can do to lose weight, to lose 50 pounds in 90 days, right? I'd be willing to give you my email to get that information. So what do you want the book to do for you? Here's another one of our students, Dr. Sorelda, who is in HR and diversity, and she's also a singer. And so when she gets booked to come in and sing and do events like that, when they come to the back, not only do they get to get her music, but she has 3 books that she can offer. So once again, it's giving her fans an opportunity to go a little bit deeper with her, learn a little bit more about her. And so she has another product she can offer them. So once again, adding revenue to her bottom line. So once again, guys, writing a book is literally a game changer. It's a game changer. Number 2, clients. You want to think about your clients. Who do you want to reach with your book? So we're going to teach you how to really narrow it down and get to your ideal client, because we want you to write a specific book for a specific audience. If you think you're writing to everybody, you're writing to nobody. And so once we get clarity on what you want the book to do for you, now we're going to figure out who are your ideal clients. Who are your ideal clients that you want to reach with your book? And once we get your ideal clients, we can get real specific in your book, because if you know, hey, I'm writing to women between the ages of 25 and 35, career women. I'm writing for career women between the age of 25 and 35. Now inside your book, you can use language that is directly targeted to that demographic. You can use language. If I know that I'm writing a book for women between the ages of 25 and 35 that are climbing the corporate ladder, how to get your first promotion, how to stand out in your job. I now know who I'm specifically talking to. I know the mindset usually of that individual. I know the hurdles and the obstacles of being a woman in that age group when I'm trying to climb that corporate ladder. If you're writing specifically to that group, right? Let's say you are, I've worked with a lot of former athletes, professional athletes. They're able to talk directly to that demographic. So if you're an athlete and you're transitioning, 10 things you need to do before you transition, right? They now know. They have stories they can put in the book. They know what it felt like the day after they retired. What does that look like? What does that month look like? What does that year look like when you don't have to go to practice anymore? When you don't have to go to games anymore? I was in the military. I've written books specifically for military individuals. 10 things you need to do before you retire. 10 things you need to do to transition into a civilian career. I can now use language directly in that book that's going to resonate with that reader. So who do you want to reach with your book? Who's the ideal client for your book? Maybe you're a military spouse. Maybe you're a military spouse. So you have wisdom, how to move effectively in the military from house to house. So if you're in the military, you know what that's like. You know what it's like to pack up your whole house and ship it across state lines or ship it across international waters. That book won't be for everybody, but it would be to that military community. And people in the military would resonate with that title, would resonate with that book. How to talk to your kids about moving in the military. Once again, you're talking to families inside the military that have to move a lot. And so you're helping those parents have conversations with their kids by writing your book. Once again, let's say you've ran a couple of marathons. How to prepare for your first marathon. So you're talking to people that want to run a marathon. You're not talking to people that are couch potatoes. So you want to identify who do you want to reach with the book. So people who don't want to run a marathon, that's not your audience. So you want to find out and you want to get real clear on who your audience is. Who is your audience? Number 3, and these are the 3 C's to writing a successful book. Number 1, you want to get clear. What do you want the book to do for you? Number 2, who is the book going to be for? And then now, number 3, what is the overall objective of your book? What problem do you solve? So you want to think about that. What's the overall objective and what problem do you solve? So for instance, if you're in healthcare, how to eat healthier on the go for fast-paced career individuals, right? So you're writing this book for fast-paced career individuals and you're teaching them how to eat healthy on the go. So a lot of people, like I travel a lot, and if I'm not conscious about it, then I'll end up always eating fast food. And then after a couple of months, I put on 15, 20 pounds. So what are some tips? What is some knowledge that you can provide to me that could solve this problem for me, always eating fast food, right? So what's the claim of your book? What's the overall objective of your book? How are you going to service the reader? How are you going to service the end user? What problem do you solve? So guys, these three C's are the building blocks, the foundational blocks for you writing a real successful book. When you think about getting real clear on what you want the book to do for you. You want to get crystal clear on what you want the book to do for you. And then, who is the end user? Who is this book perfect for? And then number 3, what is the problem you solve? What is the problem you solve with this book? Maybe it's getting out information. Maybe it's providing a skill. But what's the problem that you solve? You know, I always tell our clients, your message is someone's medicine. Like, someone needs the information that you have. Someone needs that information that you have. So your message is someone's medicine, and a book is a great tool to get your message out. So once again, if you have a product or a service, that you want to get to a wider audience, there is not a better way, marketing, advertising, than a book. And I like to call the book the gift that keeps on giving. You know, when I look at this picture of these books, I only had to write the book one time, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm looking at this book, Genius Potential, that I wrote almost 15 years ago, and still weekly, all around the world, somebody's buying that book. Somebody's still buying that book, and I only had to write it one time. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I only had to write it one time. And with this formula, and I'm going to be sharing on our training, I'm going to be sharing a game changer that is making writing a book even easier. This formula right here has helped me. You know, I've been able to write a book, and I think I did a video one time of it. I actually used this formula to write a book in one day. Literally, I wrote a book in one day, and I recorded myself doing it. And I used this simple formula to write a book in one day. And so if you've been having a struggle in getting that book out of your head to your hand, if you're always having writer's block, or you don't think you have enough time to write a book, or you've been waiting for that special moment where you're going to get just 2 months all to yourself, without your family, without your spouse, without your kids, and you can just go to a cabin and write to your heart's desire. Well, that rarely happens. And so when you join me for Bank on Books Master Coaching, this group coaching on September 5th, it starts September 5th. When you join us for this coaching, I'm going to teach you how to block out the time that you need to write. We're going to teach you the format and how to lay out all your ideas. We're going to teach you how to publish the book, how to promote the book, how to position yourself as an expert with the book. So we're going to go really into detail. So if you've been on the fence about writing a book, now is the time. Simply go over to drwillspeaks.com/BBF, Bank on Books formula. Guys, I would love to support you on this journey. I would love for you to be added to the other 350 authors that I've helped become multiple authors, multiple best-selling authors. So this online coaching, it starts September the 5th, 2023. Go to, once again, drwillspeaks.com/BBF. Lock in your spot and meet me on September the 5th. I want you to be a part of that special group. I want you to be the individual that leaves your imprint on the world. And writing a book is one of the best ways to do that. You'll have something that outlives you, that your great grandchildren will be able to pick up and read and think and get your thoughts and say, this is how my great grandmother thought. This is how my great grandfather thought. How cool would that beat. So give yourself this gift. You could go into 2024 being a brand new author. So join me September the 5th. Go over to drwillspeaks.com/BBF. And I look forward to investing that time with you and celebrating with you as you become a brand new author or an author of a brand new book. All right, guys, have a great evening. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Look forward to seeing you September 5th.